What's up, y'all? One Piece One Life here, and guys, first of all, I just want to say thank you. We have finally did it. We have hit 100 subs, and my life feels like it has meaning again. With this 100 subs, that doesn't mean that we're done, nowhere near it, because as anyone who actually does YouTube knows, 100 subs is just the beginning. It's a good milestone to set for yourself, and then you gotta keep pushing it. So that's what we're gonna do. Mission 500, I'm telling y'all, it's coming sooner than you think. So in order to do that, share around my channel and get all your friends to subscribe too. Now onto the video topic. What is it again? Oh yes, crossovers. Cause you know what 99% of the world doesn't hate? The concept of two universes that have no business coming together to create fascinating, interesting, amazing stories. Whether it's with cartoon superheroes like the Ben 10 Generator Rex crossover, man, I love those shows, or anime crossovers like the one thing that One Piece did with Dragon Ball and Toriko that one time. I mean, even my own stories got some elements of it in there because I'm drawing on all kinds of other anime and all other kind of tropes and adding them into my own story for plot lines, characters, etc. With the point being, people like crossovers, and because I needed a quick video to be able to put out this week, I thought, you know what an interesting crossover idea would be? Who in other anime would have Conqueror's Haki if they were in the One Piece world? Who, if they were placed into this world, would have the drive of a conqueror, one who's gonna topple worlds and lead factions and all the other amazing stuff that Conqueror's Haki users are supposed to be able to do. So that's what we're going to determine today. I've created a list and I'm just going to go through series by series that at least I've watched and just tell y'all who I think would have Conqueror's Haki. But before we get into the list, guys, please, I know we had 100, but we're not done. Like the video. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content just like this, and share it around with all your friends who love the series, even if they don't watch One Piece, even if they don't watch anime. For me, make them sub. Just tell them to believe in me and we'll make it there. Now, quick note that I want to make just about the kinds of, anime that I'm going to be talking about. They're mostly going to be battle shonen, just because if it's alongside the same vibe, like One Piece is a battle shonen, like it's going to make sense. I'd love to say that you're not going to just have Conqueror's Haki just because you're MC, but the second thing I'll say is that I'm limiting this just to the list of animes that I love, and like I actually know enough about their worlds to be able to say these about these characters. I know that there's a whole slew of other anime out there, but if it's not on the list, it's probably because A, I either don't know it, B, I know it but haven't watched it, or C, I started watching it but I'm not into it enough to be able to actually make a proper analysis, or D, I forgot and then I can make as part 2. Now, starting off with my number 2 favorite series, if One Piece is number 1, this is right below it, has to be Naruto. And Naruto has got a decent amount of characters, I can't lie. Starting with the obvious, Naruto and Sasuke. They just have to have it. See, look, everything that they do in their show, it's impossible that they don't have it. Naruto's the MC. His whole dream is essentially Luffy's dream, but in his world, so we don't even have to get into him. But Sasuke taking the darker road of a conqueror, of an avenger, that's like literally what he wanted to do. Conquer the whole world so as to bring peace. Next up, we're gonna take a backtrack to their reincarnations and talk about Madara and Hashirama, two of the strongest ninjas to ever exist in ninja history. And now, a really important distinction is just because a character is super strong doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna have Conqueror's Haki. Because, I mean, just look at Blackbeard. All Conqueror's Haki users are strong, but not all strong people are Conqueror's Haki users. You see how that works? Like the rhombus and square thing? But yeah, just the fact that the two of them are continuously talked about in their world's history long after they died because of, leading Konoha Village, the two factions that came together to literally create what would end up being the greatest village, the greatest city in their world. I'm also going to give it to Jiraiya just because I think that he has a lot of parallels to Whitebeard that I just really like, Because we know Conqueror's Haki is seemingly linked by lineage, we're gonna have to give it to Minato too, and I guess with that in case, Boruto as well. And then finally, we're also gonna give it to anyone who's ever been an Otsutsuki ever, at least pure-blooded Otsutsukis. So Kaguya, Toneri, Kinshiki, Momoshiki, the Sage of the Six Paths, Ashura and Indra, all of them, which when you calculate it out is maybe less than 2% of all the Naruto characters there are. Next up, let's talk about Dragon Ball and get this out of the way real quick, because the answer for Dragon Ball is really simple. It's just all the Saiyans. Saiyan pride, Saiyan like warrior's pride, spirit, drive, That's literally what the fighting race of the Saiyans is about, which means we have all of our favorites in there: Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, Gohan, Goten. And I'm not far enough into Dragon Ball to know what happens after, but apparently even Pan gets really strong, so there you go. As long as you're a pure Saiyan or the child of a pure Saiyan, you're good. Next up, let's talk about Black Clover. As a series that is rapidly coming to its end, I don't know when else I'm gonna be able to talk about it. So because there are the obvious Naruto and Sasuke parallels, I have to give it to Asta and Yuno. Then I'm gonna give it to Yami Sukehiro, because if you know anything about Yami from his show, literally his entire motto is surpass your limits, because no matter what is maybe blocking you, you can go past that. If that's not the drive or spirit of somebody that should have Conqueror's Haki, I don't know what is, because it's literally Zoro. And kind of along the same vein, let's go ahead and give it to Mario Leona too. Okay, I don't know how many of you have seen the Black Clover movie that came out last summer, but imagine her Calidus Brachium punch barrage thing that she does infused with Conquerors. We also have to give it to the person who Asta and Yuno are trying to get to, which is Julius Novachrono. And then for his role in, being one of the main central figures and having his story spanning hundreds and hundreds of years till now, that shows a drive to me. So let's give it to the elf Patoli. Now for Hunter x Hunter, I only found 4 people. And again, there may be more, but it's just I haven't gone over Hunter x Hunter in so long that I may be forgetting some people. These are just the people that jumped out to me from what I can remember. Gon and Ging to me are pretty obvious. That I'm gonna give it to Miruem, literally the Ant King who would have taken over the world if not for the entire forces of the Hunter Association coming at him at the same time, and unfortunate poisoning. He was really set to be the king. His aura was different. No one could touch him. Like, the thing about Hunter x Hunter is that somebody's aura output and just like how scary their aura is can be a representation of what you would equivalent to Conqueror's Haki. And Miriam's in his show is kind of the equivalent to what Kaido does in his show. And the 4th person we're giving is to the person who actually poisoned Miriam, and that's gonna be Isaac Netero. Obviously, out of the fact that he's been the chairman for time, that he's dedicated his life to just training and becoming stronger, that's just his drive. That's what he wanted to do. Even if you want to put all that aside, just imagine the aesthetics of the Miriam versus Netero fight, but with Conqueror's Haki added into it and updated with current animation. Now, interestingly, I'm not going to give it to Killua, and that's just because I don't think that being a deuteragonist of your show automatically should grant you, Conqueror's Haki abilities. Because again, Conqueror's Haki is a representation of your will, your drive, your ambition. Haki in general is your ambition. Conqueror's Haki is a step above that, where your ambition is so strong that you're literally forcing it on other people. It's almost like grabbing the world by the neck or something and being like, hey, notice me. And I think that while Killua is strong, he's not the same as Gon. That's not what he wants. Killua just wants to protect the people he's close to, which is real. All Conqueror's Haki, well, that's not true. Most Conqueror's Haki people want to do that too. But if you compare that to Gon and Ging, seeing how far they would go, you see all of their different moments on display, and to me it's night and day. Lastly, for Hunter x Hunter, I'm gonna add this one in, but it is kind of manga spoilers, and I know a lot of people don't read the Hunter x Hunter manga, so be warned, skip ahead. The 5th person I'm gonna just sneak in there is Netero's son, Beyond. Only because it seems like he's currently employing a master plan to do exactly what he wants, where literally all of the factions on the Black Whale are falling right into his trap. Now in the Bleach universe, we have another father-son duo with Ichigo and Isshin. I think anyone who's seen the recent episodes of Thousand Year Blood War cannot deny the fact that Ichigo is going crazy and should have Conquerors, absolutely. Man, I cannot wait for Bleach to come back. It's supposed to be like in a few days, yeah? Speaking of, we're also gonna give it to the villain that Ichigo will be fighting in a few days, and that's Aizen. No, it's not. That's Yuha. And along them, let's give it to Aizen and Captain Yamamoto. All 3 of them are occupying high positions as the leaders of the 3 major factions that we've seen, the Gote 13, the Stern Ritters, and the Espada, respectively. And all of them, you can just see in the way that they act that their presence is domineering. Is that a word? There are very few people who can stand up to them, which is why when Ichigo does it, he makes it look incredible. Now in Tokyo Revengers, I'm only giving it to one person, and that has to be Mikey. And anyone who's seen Tokyo Revengers knows exactly what I'm talking about. The way that Mikey handles leading all of those delinquents with, he really seems like a leader. It seems like his character was written straight out of One Piece. And I could probably find a few more people to give it to, like Kazutora, but I really just would have to go back through the series in order to do that. And I wasn't trying to do that for something that was supposed to be a quick video. Now in Vinland Saga, let's give it to Thorfinn, and Thorkel. Now I don't know what it is about having the word Thor in your name, but it must automatically just make you stronger, because all three of them are different. Thor's continuing to beat on people even as arrows are thudding into him. We all know what Thorfinn can do. And then everything we've seen from Thorkel too, like wow, just wow. I will keep in mind that I have not finished the manga of Vinland Saga, or at least caught up to wherever it's at now, so do not come for me. Now we're gonna go to a series that I would say is third if One Piece and Naruto are second. And you know, going against what a lot, and I mean a lot of people would say, I'm gonna have to go with Fairy Tail. I know a lot of people think Fairy Tail's trash, and that's mostly because of the anime, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the anime, for the majority of it, like at least the first 70%, is trash. But the manga has some of the best writing I've seen, because while people will harp on power of friendship, the manga doesn't make it as blatant as the anime does. And I should know, I just finished rereading the entire manga in December. I don't even know why I'm ranting about Fairy Tail right now. Let's just get to the list. So starting off with a few obvious ones. Natsu, obviously. Acnologia as the second strongest being in the series. And Zeref, also obviously. The Haki that will be firing off with just two of them meeting is insane. Now imagine all three of them. Now adding on to the list, let's give it to Makarov and Loxus, because I think Loxus' story is one of the better ones in Fairy Tail. His spirit is never broken completely. He just has to reform what he thinks after he loses to Natsu. And then he comes back better than ever. Oh, and let's not forget, Loxus 5v1ing an entire Dark Guild alone. Oh, before I forget, let's also add in Guild Arts there, because do I even need to say why we're adding in Guild Arts? The Shanks of the Fairy Tail universe. We'll also give it to Hades, the master of Grimoire Heart, and August, the strongest person in Zeref's army after Zeref himself. A guy who was literally going to blow up the entire country alone. He had the power to leave Zeref be the only one surviving. Next we'll get to my hero, and I want to ask you guys about this one, because do you think Deku should have it? Because I could see arguments going either way, really. On one hand, you really do see his drive. He wants to be that hero, the one who protects everybody, and he stays steadfast on that. Even when he's kind of shaken, even when he goes on his vigilante arc, he still has the same goal in mind. He just has to shift the way he thinks about it. But at the same time, I think part of the reason that Deku is alluring as a character is the fact that he's not anything special, at least initially. And I think having Conqueror's Haki would go in the face of that. Then again, if Conqueror's Haki is just your spirit as opposed to quirks being devil fruits, then I guess you could see it as different. Whatever, let's move on, because we're also going to give it to All Might and All For One, the eternal rivals. I think that should just make sense. And then interestingly, I also want to give it to Stain, if only for the fact that Stain is an amazing character, just even from a character analysis perspective, an analysis that I don't have time to do here. But for those who've watched the show, you know what I'm talking about. Let's give it to Stain too. Interestingly, I'm not giving it to Shigaraki, because I kind of equate him to Blackbeard, where he just keeps getting powers. So the whole thing of how Luffy is supposed to oppose Blackbeard, and Blackbeard's whole thing is having devil fruits, I see that kind of the same way with Deku and Shigaraki. In Attack on Titan, the only person that I could really find besides Eren, and even Eren is questionable, is Erwin. You know, the ex-commander who led all of his people into death. I say that, I really respect Erwin, I really do. I don't know, I just feel like Attack on Titan isn't a series that lends itself to Conqueror's Haki users, because Attack on Titan isn't like most other shonen. It's hard pressed for me to even call it a shonen. Finally, let's talk about what the current hottest manga out right now is, undisputably. While a lot of people will say One Piece is their favorite, and it's my favorite too, you cannot deny that JJK is doing crazy. And the best part about JJK is that they already have a move that literally equates to Conqueror's Haki in their universe, the Black Flash. Black Flash happens where you're hitting with such force and in such a precise, quick instant that you're distorting space-time and creating black flashes. So for JJK, the list is easy. It's just everyone that's hit a Black Flash off before, which according to the list I have here is Yuji, the main character, makes sense. Yuta, the person who should have been the main character, also makes sense. Gojo, the literal most OP person in the world. Nanami, who I'm really happy of because Nanami is one of my goats. Kugisaki, who all I can say is rest in peace. Todo, another one of my goats. And then the two biggest bads that the world has known, Mahito and Ryomen Sukuna. I think when you look at all of them and you read into their character analysis more, you kind of understand why they're the special chosen few. And again, it's not like I'm just read off a list of only the strong characters in JJK, because there's a lot of characters that I've left off this list who have not hit it. Toji, Maki, Jogo. So yeah, that's the video, guys. Just a quick one I wanted to do, but an interesting idea nonetheless of which characters in other anime would have Conqueror's Haki. What do you think about the list? Is there anybody from any of these anime that you think deserve to be on the list but they're not? Are there arguments for people who are on the list that shouldn't be? Is there just an anime or manga that I've just not talked about that you really think that that person has the drive of a conqueror? Let me know all that good stuff and more in the comments. And who knows, maybe I'll spin back another video. That's the end of the video, y'all. Now please, guys, do me this solid, like the video, subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content just like this every week. I'm here even during vacation, and share it around with all your friends who love the series. Remember, I'm trying to make a community, but I need your help to do it. 100 is a good starting place, but we got to use that springboard. Well, that's going to be all from me. I'll catch y'all in the next one, and always remember, One Piece, one life. Sitting here trying to think of a good outro, and oh, okay, thought of one. What do you guys think makes the best qualities of a conqueror? And by that I mean, what are the criteria you would say an anime character needs to have before you can say I can see them having the Conqueror's Haki ability if they're in the One Piece world? Talk amongst yourselves.